So just a quick introduction. Hi, my name is Allie. I'm a product manager on the .NET team. I'm joined today by my coworker and colleague, John Douglas, another product manager on the .NET team. And we're excited to be here today to talk about all the exciting new features that are available in NuGet for .NET 9. We're just going to be covering everything or a lot of the new features, definitely not everything, but a lot of the highlights that are available. So with that being said, let's get started. Okay. So we're gonna start off with a little bit of a scary looking, but just an overview slide to kind of set the scene for a lot of the NuGet team's focus over the last year. So supply chain attacks and software are on the rise, and they've been exponentially increasing every year. And it's becoming too often that we're hearing about a new large software data breach, and it just seems to hit closer to home every time. Reversing Labs' State of the Software Supply Chain report in 2024 finds that incidents of malicious packages on popular open source package managers have increased by 1,300% over the past 3 years, which is a scary statistic to hear, but these incidents highlight the vulnerabilities inherent in our interconnected digital infrastructure. And this report really just underscores the urgency of addressing these threats. So revealing in that 2023 alone, there were over 50 significant breaches traced back to compromised software supply chains. These breaches not only damage company reputations, they have far-reaching implications for data privacy and security as a whole. So with reports across package ecosystems of substantial increases in malicious package uploads, attackers are trying to leverage our platforms to distribute malware and exploit unsuspecting developers. So as noted in the graph at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, 245,000 malicious packages were found in 2023, which is 2 times the amount of all previous years combined since 2019. John, are there any headlines or any stats on this page that stick out to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This problem has been a problem for a while now. We're here in the 4th year of kind of really having this new awareness to known security vulnerabilities, especially in packages, but really in all software. And one thing that we're starting to see is, as you're seeing all these different headlines, it is as simple as one of these things taking your business down for a few days. We actually have a session later on that we'll talk to you about. I think we saw something in Australia where just a patch update could have kept the business running for a week, but instead it took them down for a week. So it's really interesting that we're starting to see this. One thing to also note is a lot of registries are under attack, per se. There are known vectors that we're starting to see be used, but we're also seeing new innovative and ways that people are trying to do this as well, whether that is to publish spam, whether that's to publish malware, whether that's to make a protest or something like that. We're seeing a lot of these different ways that people are expressing themselves on different registries, but mostly in the security space.
Yeah, absolutely. Seeing some of these headlines and news articles can be really scary, but that's why it's more crucial than ever that we have safeguards in place to protect our software supply chain. So, what is the NuGet team doing about it? With the rise in software supply chain attacks, the NuGet team has really risen to the occasion and implemented numerous new safeguards with even more in active development to really help you ensure that your projects remain secure. So these measures include some of the things that are listed on here. NetRestore, we have some audit improvements that we're going to be talking about. Transitive dependencies and new awareness tooling that we are bringing so that you really have a full picture of what's going on in your projects. We're introducing a new concept of OIDC trusted publishers, which is in active development. Inclusion of SBOMs in the .NET SDK. the new .NET NuGet command, as well as partnerships with other organizations across the industry. So by staying vigilant and proactive, the NuGet team aims to create a more resilient and secure software ecosystem for everyone. So let's move on to our first topic. Let's talk about some of the improvements that were made to the .NetRestore Audit that will help you stay secure by default. The default audit command now checks all dependencies, both direct and indirect, to ensure that no dependencies are left unchecked. So this will help you to maintain security at all angles of your project and not just what's visible from the surface. Direct dependencies are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to knowing what's going on in your projects, and the new NetRestore Audit allows you to go below the surface and get a full picture of your potential vulnerabilities. Now, with this being said, we still want you to have fine-grained control of the notifications that you're seeing when you run restore, which is why that users can now employ NuGet Audit Suppress to ignore specific warnings or advisories. So setting audit sources to use NuGet.org is always recommended for the trusted source. But John, what are your thoughts on the impact that this will have on the NuGet ecosystem?
Yeah, absolutely. Back in .NET 8, we enabled auditing for top level, and we saw a huge reduction of known vulnerabilities across every restore. We decided, to move forward with what we've been seeing in the industry, which is something around like 94% of known vulnerabilities are actually in indirect dependencies, which is a transitive dependency. And so we hope that this will help keep the ecosystem safe and help everyone shift left, which means that libraries will update with patch dependencies. Those patch dependencies will include patch dependencies, and it's patch dependencies all the way down. These functionalities are very flexible, as Ali mentioned. You can suppress advisories. You can turn the level of severity up and down. You can change the mode to go back to the original .NET 8 functionality, and you can even turn it off. So there's plenty of options for you to use, especially in Visual Studio 17.12.
Awesome. Thanks for that comment. So we will move on to our next highlight here, which is new awareness into transitive dependencies. So with restore auditing being amazing and all, we really just wanted to make sure that users have complete transparency into any hidden dependencies that might exist in their projects. So this is why we wanted to implement a new way to showcase these dependencies directly where you work in the Visual Studio Package Manager UI. So at both the project and solution level, you can now see all dependencies in your project and not just the top level ones, as was historically. A new transitive packages collapsible list is now available in the installed tab of the Package Manager UI. And you'll also receive any warning alerts for known vulnerabilities so that you have clear transparency into what projects are affected and which versions might be vulnerable with our newly designed chart, as you can see all the way on the right-hand side of the screen. So you'll see a warning icon next to any transitive packages that are vulnerable and be able to easily identify which versions have the vulnerability and which of your projects they're installed in. So now I think we're going to move on to our next topic, which is OIDC trusted publishers. So another way that the NuGet team is looking to enhance security in our ecosystem is through the introduction of this topic. So John, why don't you tell us a little bit about how this works?
Sure. So in the traditional model today, you generate an API key. The API key lasts for a certain amount of period of time, and more or less you publish with it. And of course, API keys can get leaked, and there's tools out in the world where they'll scan for API keys that do get leaked and try to warn you about these type of things. Now, OIDC trusted publishing is really just it's a way to bring short-lived API keys so that you can more or less generate them on the fly. Through this type of connection and use it in places that you normally build, your NuGet packages, which is GitHub Actions and Azure DevOps. I call it ASDO. One thing that we also are wanting to do here as well is that we want to basically confirm that some packages are using this functionality, which they can actually register their repositories, organization, you'll see on the screenshot here, even up to the branch. and say that this is the package that I actually am a trusted publisher of, coming from the CI/CD itself. That could, in the future, add, say, like a little affordance that says, oh yeah, this comes directly from here, and you can find the provenance of that package. So we're excited about this. This actually was implemented, I believe, in npm and pypy already, and we have a prototype, and we're hopefully going to get that out pretty soon. So
Awesome. Super exciting. Cool. So with that being said, let's move on to our next topic, which is SBOMs in NuGet. So for those of you who aren't familiar, an SBOM, or software bill of materials, is essentially an ingredients list for what can be found in a given piece of software. So in 2021, an executive order mandated the use of software bill of materials, or SBOMs, to enhance the security and transparency of software supply chains. SBOMs provide a comprehensive inventory of all components and dependencies within a software project, facilitating better tracking of licenses, vulnerabilities, and security risks. This measure aims to improve the identification and management of potential threats in software development and deployment processes, thereby overall bolstering cybersecurity. And the NuGet team is introducing a new way to automatically generate SBOMs for your packages. So, John, what are some impacts that automatic SBOM generation will have on NuGet package owners?
yeah, absolutely. So one thing that comes to mind is we're starting to see this trend of transparency with supply chain security, and so SBOM just brings a lot more transparency into the matter. So you'll see with these type of component gathering, or these ingredient lists, you'll start to be able to understand pretty much everything about your NuGet packages, which would be, does the NuGet package have advisories or known security vulnerabilities when it was published? Is there like a note on those advisories saying this isn't affected on certain frameworks or versions? You can have more information like, is there a license attached to it? And other special security metadata that can be added to this. So this is just the beginning of this type of longer story, but this just provides that transparency and kind of a snapshot of what happened with that NuGet package at the time that it was built, so that when you have a known security incident or something like that, you can go back and you can open up the package, look at the SBOM, and see what's all inside.
Awesome. Cool. This is an awesome new feature. Super excited to include this now in NuGet. So the next.
Can we go back for one more
oh,
second, really
yeah.
quick?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just the other things to add really quick are, this is actually a separate NuGet package. It is under the Microsoft.sbom.targets package. You can download this today, and then you can add this property into your project, saying generate SBOM true, and then it'll automatically generate that respective SBOM JSON for you. This is a super preview for the most part, and it's in active development. We're still polishing a lot off, but feel free to give us your feedback on where it is today. It produces the minimal set of requirements based on that executive order. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for adding that in. Cool. Next feature, we'll go to .NET NuGet Y. So this is a powerful new tool that displays the full dependency graph for a specific package within a project or solution. So it'll help you identify where a package is being used, including transitive dependencies. And this is incredibly useful for debugging dependency issues or understanding package relationships. So when analyzing a dependency graph, you can see how a package fits into your project or solution, making it easier than ever to spot potential conflicts or redundancies. So .NET NuGet Y supports multiple target frameworks, providing a comprehensive view across different environments as illustrated in the accompanying image. This feature is instrumental in maintaining a clean and efficient project structure, ultimately contributing to smoother development cycles and more robust software. John, what are your thoughts on .NET NuGet Y and how it can assist developers in optimizing their dependency management?
Yeah, one of the questions that we constantly got from people, even before security was a thing, was why is this package part of my package graph? Why is this indirect dependency in that package graph? And so the natural question is, how do you answer that? Well, you have to show a tree, you show a list, you have to dive into assemblies and references and all this stuff. And that was really hard. It took a lot of time, a lot of expertise. You'd have to look through the solution explorer and go all the way down, and so we wanted to make a command that was just really easy for people to just say, hey, why is this package here? And you can put a package in there, and then more or less you can see all this bright text that says, okay, it's coming from these routes. And then you can go investigate those routes. You can update them, you can remove them, you can do whatever you need to do based off of that new understanding. So we hope that this will help just bring a lot more awareness to both the transitive slash indirect problems, but also just learning more about what's actually in our software.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds like this will be great for transparency and just helping to really understand what's at the root of our software projects. Cool. So let's move on to some industry partnerships that we have forged over just to stay on top of security within projects. So yeah, we have new partnerships with OpenSSF, GitHub, deps.dev, and I'll turn it over to John to dive into some more detail about these partnerships.
Sure, thank you. So OpenSSF is kind of a large industry-wide kind of symposium per se, trying to really understand security. And so one thing that they've been doing is the scorecard initiative, which is how can we take repositories and really kind of indirectly their packages and provide some type of security score or some way that a user can understand, do I trust that repository, that package, etc. And so our teams have been contributing different checks. So these are different scorecard checks. And one that we've recently been doing is a pin dependency check, which is basically, does a repository and its respective package use lock files, and do they also pin to specific GitHub actions and also container images? And you can imagine more and more just to give that determinism. Other things is that for the .NET ecosystem, scorecards is a new concept, and so we're trying to bring more awareness to the whole ecosystem to go look through those checks and kind of think, hey, does this check matter to me? And if it does, to implement the respective points for it, and if not, to kind of just keep it on the back of your mind. Last but not least is that there's kind of an aim to just enhance and bring that awareness. Again, we're talking about transparency and whatnot, and seeing these things in different ways helps us understand like where we might be falling short just off of some basic checks. So this one was a fun partnership that we've been doing recently, and there's also a NuGet blog out there if people want to go read it. Cool. And then the next one is Dependabot. So everyone knows and probably loves Dependabot. One interesting fact about it was the first version of Dependabot for NuGet support is really just an old Ruby script. And so what we did last year was we partnered up to bring an official implementation. That official implementation uses all the NuGet features. It actually restores, uses .NET Restore, and it also supports functionality like central package management. So it can detect package versions now. That was something that we heard from people that use central package management today, that it wasn't working for that scenario. So it should be available today, but there is a rollout, I believe. So, but yeah, it's a really exciting new functionality that's perfect. And then the last one, deps.dev, we worked with Google. They've been kind of experimenting with a concept called open source insights, which is how do we look at all of the open source and kind of provide different lenses on security, on usage, on popularity, all these different types of things. And you can see on the right side that NuGet is a supported ecosystem on this website. This website also supports OpenSSF scorecards. So if any person out there who authors a NuGet package, you can type in your NuGet package here, and you should be able to see all this rich data, even comparisons and diffs of your previous package versions, and even the OpenSSF scorecard. I don't think it's supported on every single package, but go check it out and go see if it's supported on yours.
Cool. Sounds like this will really help people just see different characteristics of their packages even easier. So that's awesome. Cool. So we've already talked about some of the awesome new ways that the NuGet team is working to help you maintain security and transparency in your projects. But let's talk about what else is new in NuGet. So we have a couple of exciting new features that I'm just going to walk through just to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that doesn't really have to do with security or as much. So the first thing, an exciting new announcement that we have is dark mode is now available on NuGet.org. I know a lot of folks have been waiting for this for a long time. And yeah, it's been consistently one of our most requested features on GitHub and across surveys. And we heard you. So the feedback has been invaluable in making this happen. We know that eye strain is a significant issue for many developers, and we're really excited to offer a solution. So whether you prefer it for aesthetics or necessity, dark mode is here to enhance your experience. So it's inspired by the sleek and modern design of Microsoft's Fluent UI. And we're excited to kind of integrate a color scheme that's easy on the eyes and also aligns really well with the aesthetics of other Microsoft products. So just to keep for consistency's sake. And yeah, it'll respect your system's themes. So there's really no need to toggle settings within NuGet.org itself to make this happen. But you can do that if you would like to. There is a toggle in NuGet.org to switch and really customize your experience. So that's a super exciting new feature that we have. The next thing I'm going to talk about is C# DevKit, NuGet commands. So another really highly requested feature that we're really excited to provide is NuGet commands in C# DevKit in Visual Studio Code. So NuGet functionality was consistently one of the most frequent asks across feedback on C# DevKit, and we really wanted to deliver an experience that answers that ask in a simple and streamlined way. So with the April 2024 release of C# DevKit, you can now manage your NuGet packages directly from Visual Studio Code using the new commands in the command palette. As you can see in this screenshot on the screen, you can add, remove, and update a package. So these commands are currently available. And we've also provided functionality to toggle between pre-release packages on or off, so you can really customize your experience. And there's also a right-click functionality within the Solution Explorer. So if you were to right-click on a package in the Solution Explorer in C# DevKit, you can access all of these commands directly from there, just to provide a little bit more of a visual and kind of integrated experience to what people might be used to within C# DevKit. And we also have a new NuGet dependency resolver, which I'll let John tell you a little bit about.
Sure. So as everyone knows, as your projects start to scale, you have more and more projects. Restore takes a much longer time to restore. And so one thing that we did in .NET 9 here is we rewrote the resolver from the ground up, really. And so what this really resulted in was that performance for a specific threshold of very, very large projects will now start to see the same restore performance that you would probably see for a medium-sized solution. So it's very exciting. If you have a super large repo, or really just a large repo in general, we hope that you'll see a significant decline. You can see some of the stats on the right here, where Arctic means completely cold, or sorry, frozen, I guess is a better way to put it. Cold meaning that restore hasn't heated up yet. There's different scenarios as well, such as offline, forced restore, and no op as well. So you can see that in pretty much all of these, there's a sizable reduction of performance. And so this is enabled by default in the release. It is for package reference projects. And also, if at any time there's a bug or a challenge or a different behavior, you can revert back using that restore use legacy dependency resolver by setting that to true. So we're super excited about this. There's also a blog coming up in the next couple of weeks to talk through this.
Awesome. This is a super exciting new feature, and really excited to kind of get a little bit more speed and better performance on NuGet. Awesome. So our last topic that I'm going to talk a little bit about today is a very hot topic. Another feature that we have in active development is the addition of hash packages context in GitHub Copilot. So this will allow you to bring in the context of your packages when asking questions to GitHub Copilot or using it to help debug your code. So you'll be able to ask questions about how to use functionality provided by a package or any other context that might be found in the package README file. So John, why is context important for AI experiences?
Yeah, context is super important right now, especially for AI experiences, because if an AI doesn't know what you're talking about, it's going to make something up. And so with packages, we want to make it as easy as possible for people to, get to know their packages through asking questions, through chatbots or inline experiences, or really wherever you need to, so that you can say, hey, hashtag packages, like, which one of you are vulnerable? Which one of you have a MIT license? Which one of you needs an update? Like, you can ask these type of questions, and we're getting towards a world where you can start to retrieve that information from registries like NuGet.org. But this is the first step. This is the local version of saying, okay, all these packages I did download that has all this wonderful metadata, like license files, like README files, like assemblies, like all that type of stuff that you can ask questions about, and it will have that context brought in with the simple variable.
Awesome. This is super exciting. And yeah, it sounds like it's just going to make understanding packages and using Copilot in Visuals or in GitHub Copilot even easier than before. So that's amazing. And that's actually our last topic. So thank you everyone for joining. This was awesome. And we're really glad we got to share some of the exciting new features in NuGet with you today.